maybe it's because I'm just stuck out in Tokyo, Japan, miles away from the center of anything in the sneaker world, although the sneaker community here is about to go boom. But that aside, you know, I sometimes miss things and don't actually notice things and don't realize things. And this might be one of them. Or it might be one of those things that Nike's miss because they're thinking that everybody gets what they're talking about and nobody actually knows. And what I mean is the LV8 line. Now, I've only ever seen the LV8 line or noticed the LV8 line at Air Force One with sneakers like this. It's like the Mantra Orange, which is a beautiful shoe, and it's all about great construction, excellent materials, premium of the line with some little changes to the basic silhouette, but nothing major over there at Air Force One. But then here I'm seeing the LV8 at the Air Max ones, and it's exactly the same thing, the premium materials and construction. But here I've found out, I've realized, I've researched and been told that LV8 actually means elevate, like L-evate. It doesn't quite work, sorry Nike, because if you want it to work, it needs an E in there, L-E-vate. But you know, elevate is supposed to be about elevating those materials and elevating the construction of the shoe to this premium level, which it certainly does. I say it a ton of times. If I say it once, it doesn't matter what you call the thing, as long as it looks good and is made well. And that's exactly what we've got today. So let's take a look at that, this elevated shoe, the upcoming release of the Nike Air Max 1 Dark Green Teal. This is a Tokyo Butter 23 sneaker channel. Tokyo Butter 23 sneaker channel days.毎日アップするので、毎日見てください. Every single day from Tokyo, Japan, I bring you content about upcoming sneaker releases, sneaker news, and sneaker reviews. And today, what's in the spotlight is an Air Max 1. But I was just laughing right now, just sort of smiling to myself because of that every single day thing. I'm quite proud of it. I've done about 850 consecutive days on YouTube without a single day miss, just non-stop, 7 days a week, 52 weeks in the year, never missed for 2.5 years. But then today I'm shooting this on Saturday night. The video will probably go up on Monday or Tuesday or somewhere thereabouts. But I actually forgot to put the video up today. I've got 2 or 3 already in YouTube, but you need to put in the information, schedule a drop date, all that kind of stuff. And I forgot to do that part of it. So the video was there. Come 7 p.m. Japan time, when I usually put my videos up, drop my videos, I was too busy mucking around with my 3-year-old daughter, who's the apple of my eye. And it got to like 9 p.m. and I was like, I didn't put up today's video. So I had to rush that one out, but still managed to get it. I think it was 9:15 or 9:30 that one actually ended up going out there. But still, those consecutive days keep on coming. So hopefully, the goal is to get to 1,000 days at least, if not more, and if not beyond that. So fingers crossed, we'll be able to do all of that and keep this thing going. And we'll do that by starting off with this video today. I already talked about that LV8 the Air Force One line, which I've done a few of their shoes. There was an Obsidian one, the Mantra, is it Mantra Orange? I think that was what it was called, which is my actual favourite of them all. There was a few other ones I've done as well. Basically, I've done maybe 5 or 6 from the Air Force One line, and they're really beautiful. They're really, really well made shoes, and they have some real sleek pieces of updates in the silhouette. Just little things like the branding on the back is erased, and then below that is this tiny beautiful bit of leather tag on the back with the branding on it instead of actually on the branding panel. Little things like that don't really change the base structure of the shoe, but just add a little bit of class and a bit of sophistication to it. And then that's exactly what's going on at the Air Max line with the same sort of theme, the elevate. They're elevating up, and in the terms of these guys, it's all about the materials and all about trading out mesh for leather. Now, most places that you'll see this shoe advertised or talk about, they'll say it's an all leather shoe, which is a slight exaggeration in 2 ways. One is, of course, it's not an all leather shoe because the midsole, for example, isn't made of leather, nor is the lining. But the other reason why it's not an all leather shoe is because there's one place in it that is still mesh that could be leather, and what I'm talking about is the tongue. So hopefully what I'm showing you on the green screen behind me here is actually the bottom end of the tongue that feeds into the toe box, and you can see there that clearly the mesh that makes up the tongue on there. Now, they could have gone with leather if they wanted to, but they chose not to. So they're all leather upper except for that little place on there, you know, I think we can give them it. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to be precious about the mesh that's on the tongue, especially because there are two places where they don't have mesh, where your standard kind of sneakers would do. And what I'm talking about, we'll start with the ankle first, the top half of the ankle, which is often done in mesh on Air Max 1s. And you can see in these guys here, it's that beautiful premium leather. And then down on the toe box, the panel, not the toe box itself, not the overlay, the wraps around the toe box, but the panel in the middle again is often done in some kind of tight knit mesh on Air Maxes, and in the case of these guys again, that's traded out for leather. So basically the whole upper of the shoe is leather, except for the tongue and mesh, and then a couple of little, you know, obvious places where you shouldn't really put leather because of you know, like just basic design purposes, if you know what I'm saying. So so that's the kind of main elevate part of the shoe. It's all about those materials and all about that quality. One of the places that you see that kind of extra little oomph is down on the toe box, right in the corner of the lateral side. There's a white embroidered swoosh that's embroidered into that overlay that's in the dark green teal. Now, I'm not a huge fan of calling these guys the dark green teals. Hopefully they'll come out as dark green or dark teal or just straight up teal, but to me green and teal are too close together, and you wouldn't say dark green teal. It would be a bit like saying dark orange red. Teal and green, they're two kind of different colors. Is it teal or is it green? They're in the same family of greens, but you know, calling it dark green teal seems a bit to me. So, but anyway, that's what they're going with right now. And that dark green teal, that dark teal that runs around the lower half of the upper, holds that embroidered swoosh on the lateral side. Now, speaking of the lateral side, there's a line that splits the quarter line between the front half of the shoe and the back half of the shoe, which is leather wrapping down from the lacing system onto the mudguards. And then between there, you've got on the front side of that, you have the overlay of the panel of the toe box in leather, and then behind it, a tiny little slither of a window, which has also got that white leather, which forms the base of the shoe. And on top of that, you've got grey as the next layer, and then on top of that, you've got the teal. But the reason why I'm talking about that quarter line is because, especially if you flip out to the medial side, you can see that that's gone on the medial side. You can see where it sort of filters through from the lateral side and then just stops at the end of the lacing system there. And that gives the medial side a sort of bigger block feel to it than the lateral side. The lateral side has enough, you know, splits to divide up the space, whereas the medial side is very kind of chunky and blocked, especially because that quarter line isn't there to give it that kind of separation of parts, if you know what I'm saying. And then from there, I guess what we could go to is maybe the swoosh first, just to have a look at that, because that really is the other major feature of the teal on this shoe. There are other things like the lace stays at the top of the lacing system and stuff like that, the toe roll, which we'll get to when we look at the outsole, but basically it's the mud guards down low and then up in the middle of the midfoot, the teal swooshes on these guys. And then if we go from there up onto the tongues and look down onto the insole as well at the same time, again you can see that mesh tongue, but what I'm more interested in this time is the branding that's on the top of the tongue and the branding on the insole, which are both done in teal on a white background. So kind of consistency, the consistency there between those two branding points. But then a little difference is if you go around to the heel and have a look there, instead of it being a white base, it's a grey base. On top of that, your teal stitched, embroidered branding on the back of these guys. Again, that speaks to that premium material and that extra little bit of effort in the quality of these shoes. The final two things to look at is to take a little peek inside the air unit. Very difficult to see, but basically that is another hit of teal. And then when we flip them upside down and have a look at the outsole is black and white almost all over, 95%, except when you get to the front end on the toe roll, where you see that teal wrapping it around and feeding it back up into the upper half of the shoe. And that's pretty much the whole thing, top to bottom, front to back, left to right. The whole thing, basically it's a white base with grey on top of that and then teal on top of that, all done in very, very high quality premium materials. Leathers in just about every place that you could hope to have leathers on a shoe. Now, Air Max 1s are quite hot right now, and they've had a bit of a sort of renaissance. They were kind of the forgotten shoe for a while. The Air Max 90s was where most of the, you know, the hype started with the Air Max line, but actually they've sort of fed back into the Air Max 1s, and they've got a kind of retro feel that's making them hot again. So this might be another one of those shoes in recent times that there have been quite a few from the Air Max 1 line that are doing pretty well, and this could be just another one of those. For now though, it's time for me just to wrap up this video and just thank you guys for checking out the content. Truly appreciate it. It's great to be able to connect with you guys every single day, and because I do this every single day, that means that you are guaranteed to see me tomorrow. す。